What's up, everybody? Jeremy Lambert, Andrew Thompson here. Joseph Holbert is a coward. He's on vacation, but he's also a coward this week. Every time Andrew is on, Joseph just doesn't show up. I thought we squashed it on Twitch, but then, we invite him to this one, and he's like, nope, Andrew's on. I'm not going to show up. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Andrew, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on, Jeremy? How you feeling, my man? It's good to see you.
I'm good. We've done some shows lately. I like that.
Yeah.
We go like a month or two without doing anything, and then here we are the past couple of weeks doing a couple shows together. Always good to have you on here. First time on the Distraction channel. Can you believe they gave us our own bullshit channel, Andrew?
Congratulations on 11,000 subs. That's all.
Yeah, we sniped all those subs from the MMA channel.
That's a big get right there, man. Subs. But I'm very disappointed in Joe Holbert, man. Very disappointed because he came on Twitch and we had a fantastic conversation on Twitch, all three of us, and then Joe decides to go this route when I come back on the show. I think this all goes back to good friend Sai, who had Joe on the channel one time, and I forgot to come on. I think I had something to do that day. And then Joe just carried this on. Joe, you gotta let it go, bro. Let it go. Let it go.
Oh man, yeah. Joseph's on vacation this week, everybody. So I'm gonna do a quick rundown here, and then we'll jump into just anything and everything. Today I'm obviously on with Andrew. Tomorrow we will be doing the ROH talk. They had a new episode of TV, so we will be talking about that. Myself, Steven Jensen, and Roberto O'Neill, and watching a classic match, probably from the mid-2010s. Wednesday, myself and O'Neill are going to preview Dynamite and review the Dean Ambrose WWE film. I don't remember which. It was in like 12 Rounds 3 or some shit. Yeah, it's Tony Khan's favorite movie. So we're gonna review that.
Who's making you sit through that?
Nobody. We wanted to do, me and Joseph used to do the movie review thing.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Back before we came.
Ready to Rumble.
Yes, that's right. The infamous Ready to Rumble episode with Andrew.
I say the John Moxley 12 rounds. That was like, what was that? The fourth or third installment of that movie?
Yeah, it was like the third or fourth one. We were gonna do Fast 9, and then it's like 2.5 hours, and I don't really want to sit through this. We thought, Moxley's got his book coming out. He's gonna be wrestling on Dynamite. It makes sense to just kind of do this Dean Ambrose film. So that's what we're gonna review on Wednesday, and we're gonna preview Dynamite. Thursday is Distraction Evolution with Kate Hensler and Cher Delaware as the host. No men on that show. All right. I thought about doing a run-in, doing the Triple H, finger point to everybody. Like, look what I've created.
Don't do it.
I'm not going to do it. No. There will be no male presence on that show at all. And then Friday, I don't know if we'll be on the channel on Friday, but we'll be on Twitch all week as well. So plenty of stuff, even though Joseph is on vacation this week. You can go to latenightgrand.com. It's shoot week over there. So head over there, see what the guys are up to. Myself and Shoot. Go ahead, Andrew.
I was about to say, I'm extremely proud of both of y'all, man. Like, y'all got like a whole rundown. You got like set days that you do things. You got like a whole Patreon. I'm a sub. Go sub. So go support the guys, man. But I'm very, 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 very proud of you both, man. To see like this thing's like very like you can tell y'all putting a lot of work on this thing. Like I always get the notifications when I check my email, or like when y'all doing something. I see you kind of slow down on the power review.
Oh, dude, I had to drop the power review. Are you kidding me? Like it was a fun bit for a while, but then like that show is so bad. I'm like, I'm not putting myself to actually watching this live every Tuesday at 6. And now we do a show on Tuesdays at 6 anyway. So we're head to head with Power. We outdraw them every single week, especially in the demo. Dude, I could not put myself through those power reviews anymore because, like, they were sarcastic nonsense and people seem to enjoy them. But I'm just like, man, this isn't fulfilling for me. I'm gonna find something better to do with my time. And now, like, I don't have much presence at all on the Patreon. That's all they gave me this channel, and I'm trying to sign that max deal, so I gotta ease off of some things and put more effort into other things. So I'll pop on every now and again, but I love what the guys are doing over there. Andrew, let's talk about ROH, because I mean, I don't know about you. I've said this many times, like ROH kind of rekindled my love for wrestling in the early and mid 2000s with their different style from WWE and Impact. And, you know, they look CM Punk, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson. You can name a who's who of who came through that territory and was a star there before they're now a star in AEW or WWE.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be the same. It might be like PWG East or something. But your overall thoughts on where ROH, where they were and where they could be headed?
Yeah, first and foremost, I think this is like them going on hiatus, or, you know, from what a lot of people sort of like, from what I've seen on social media, it seems like a lot of people think this is like the, you know, the end of ROH. I think it's like the best way to put it is like sort of the end of ROH as we know Ring of Honor. Like, I'm pretty sure, like you said, it's probably going to end up being like a more sort of like an independent promotion. Like, that's probably like the consensus that I've seen that a lot of people think is going to happen. Is going to be like, you know, no contract type of thing. Like, they'll run shows and, you know, bring talents in, and, you know, it'll run more like an independent promotion, and like you'll have your staples there, people that you'll see regulars and things like that. But it is a sad thing, man, because ROH, I feel like they did such a good job during the pandemic, and it's kind of sad that actually doing the good thing is the thing that probably ended up biting them in the ass at the end, by actually paying all their talent throughout the whole thing, even paying the people that were overseas, like the Mark Haskins, the Joe Hendry, Session Martinez, the people who couldn't even they couldn't even come over and get into the US to come work the ROH shows. Like, they made sure they were paid. You know, and it was so many other people. Even in Australia, I think they had Kellyanne and Adam Brooks were over there sitting in Australia just waiting till the day they could come over and make their like full-time Ring of Honor runs after they got signed to deals. And like, man, to have your staff, even the production people, make sure they were paid throughout the whole pandemic, is like they did everything right, and it, you know, it just ended up biting them in the ass at the end. And, you know, it's just it seemed just like a rough business decision to make, but it felt like they just wanted to do right by the people who, you know, who were there for them. So I don't think it's good for wrestling for ROH to be gone. I think it's better with them, because as we've seen, like, you know, Fred Yehi got spotlighted. We seen like this. I mean, Jonathan Gresham was already on the uptick, but like, man, it really seemed like they were going the route of possibly crowning him, like, and then going on a full title run post Final Battle. And, you know, you seen the, like, I mean, everybody knew who Bandito was, but like, just seeing him further get the ROH World Title. You got Trish Adora, who just got signed. I think a lot of people, including myself, are sort of pulling for O'Shea Evans to get signed as a part of Shane Taylor Promotions, man. So, but also, I mean, you can also see some of the positives for some of the talents. Like, now, you know, they're walking into a I guess you could say crowded free agency market, I guess you could say. And now there's gonna be a lot of talents, man, who will be able to go out there and they can sort of flourish and sort of spread their wings. Like, I'm pretty sure you say most of the tweets, because there's a lot of people think Jonathan Gresham is probably out of December, bro. I give it about a month. I give it about a good month. And man, you got so many people out there, man, who's doing great stuff. Like, I think I don't know why, but I remember you and Sean would talk about this, and y'all used to always ask why. I told you I like Matt Taven. I don't know why. I just big Matt Taven guy. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why. Like, I think it's because I'm a very sarcastic person, and I like sarcastic people. So that's a whole other thing. I remember you and Sean to jump on me about that all the time for no reason.
I
used to get beat up in the chat for no reason just for my comment.
I will say Matt Taven has done some good work alongside of Mike Bennett since he returned. I've not had an issue with like Taven stuff as like a tag team guy. Like, as top single star, face of the company, Matt Taven, I got an issue with that. But, you know, tag team specialist Matt Taven, I'm fine with that guy. That guy's fine. But yeah. And Sean is in the chat right now, just saying Matt Taven always looks like he's cosplaying somebody else. Omega's old hair, AJ's gloves, EC3's moves.
But like, you even were talking about the like the women, like I was about to mention, like, the women's division. Like, they were doing such a like solid job of establishing women's division, man, that they were having. They had the constant women's division Wednesday shows. Just crowned Roxy as the ROH Women's World Champion. It seemed like they were going on a really good route there. What is she, like 19? Like you got you got your future established right there from the get-go. You had Miranda Alizé waiting in the wings. You had Trisha Dora waiting in the wings. Willow Nightingale, Chelsea Green. And I'm pretty sure it's probably gonna be more people to come. I think the NWA was sort of getting in the mix with the tag titles being defended on ROH TV. Like, I just think just them having no fans and not being able to bring that sort of live gate profit, I guess. I don't know how much of a difference that would have made, but I'm pretty sure it made some type of difference just to have people there throughout that whole stretch. But yeah, man, I don't think it's good for wrestling for ROH to go away, but it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what they do come April 2022. And they coming back with the Supercard of Honor, right?
Yeah, they said they're going to come back with Supercard, which is WrestleMania weekend. We'll see who is booked for that show. Obviously, if you're running WrestleMania weekend, probably going to draw a decent house, right, depending on what time you're running, obviously, because there's going to be a lot of shows going on that whole weekend, and who you book. Like we will see who they get booked for that, and if they can draw. I do think people will want to show up and kind of support, as it will be their first show back, and there's a lot of nostalgia for ROH. So if, after a hiatus, people might be like, all right, let's go see what this ROH show has to offer. They obviously took a huge hit during the pandemic because they were like really the first company to shut. They had shows that weekend. They had the anniversary show and then Past vs. Present that weekend in Las Vegas. And like 2 days before they had to shut everything down. And, they held tapings, empty arena. They paid everybody, like you said. They tried to do everything the right way. They had the bubble and everything, which was a good call. Like if you tested positive, you were out. You couldn't participate and everything. They did everything the right way. Unfortunately, when they came back, they didn't draw well in Philadelphia. They just did not draw well. Their TV, they're a television product where no one can find their TV, and I don't think their TV actually enhances what they do with events. I've talked about it a lot, but like their television, you don't know, okay, this happened before the show, it happened after the show. The television can be out of order a lot. Like, no one can find these shows. It's like, it's free. It's on their website, and still no one can find that stuff. It's a shame. I don't think the wrestling business is better without ROH, because you want more companies, you want more stable companies paying people. And ROH, if nothing else, they were paying people. A lot of those guys are going to get good deals elsewhere. And a lot of them will cash in a little bit on the indies. But now you are going to run into an issue where you saturate the market a little bit, and it might hurt other people who want to be booked on the indies and everything. We will see what happens with everything. I hope when they come back, they do kind of just treat it on like a per appearance sort of deal. I don't know what their television looks like moving forward. Maybe they can I think the best option for them was almost like a New Japan style, is where you use television is basically like Road 2 shows. Like, hey, let's just do like multi-man tag matches. Let's do promos to set stuff up, and then we will build towards big matches. They were kind of doing that more recently, but I don't think they hammered it home enough. And again, no one can find their television. And because like if people can't find your show, and if people aren't watching your show, then it's tough to build to big matches. Like, hey, you saw their last event was like EC3, Bandito, Brody King, and who else was in the four corner match? Dragon Lee?
No, it was Bandito. You said EC3, Brody King, and who was that fourth person?
It was Dragon Lee or Flamita. It was one of the two. I'm fairly certain. The fact that we can't remember this is probably not good.
What was that? Yeah. Was that who it was? Demonic Flamita? No, that's Flamita, but yeah, you know what I mean. What
event was that? Remember this? Probably not great.
Was that Death Before Dishonor? Was that what that was?
I think that was the last show. Yes, I'm gonna look this up. Okay, so we don't look completely stupid. It was Flamita, Demonica Flamita. Okay, yeah, cool, that was Death Before Dishonor. Like if you watch their television, that was literally like one segment. They built this. It's like everyone, it was very WWE segment too. It was like everyone come out and it's just like, hey, I want a title shot. It's like, okay, this isn't great. Like that was their big main event for that show. And it's like they didn't do anything to really build that on TV. So their television didn't help them build big events. And it's a shame because they have good wrestlers. They have very good talent. Yes. And a lot of these people, you mentioned a lot of them, like should be spotlighted. I hope it works out best for everybody. Bandito's already booked in GCW.
Okay.
Like within hours they had Bandito locked up. Gresham's going to WXW to participate in the 16 carat tournament.
That's nice.
Yeah,
nice.
He's supposed to be in that. I hope Shane Taylor finds work. I love Shane Taylor. He rules. A lot of good talent. I imagine once New Japan, hopefully they start opening back up soon enough. A lot of these guys can go over to Japan. If not, they can work the New Japan Strong shows. So,
see, I was about to say, John, New Japan Strong, more interesting than what's going on.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have a lot of talent going in there. Like certain people will have no problem finding work. But the thing, and Silas Young said this in an interview with Body Slam, they said like it's a steady paycheck that is now gone, and that's the toughest part. Is these guys are now losing out on that steady paycheck, and it's like, all right, you got to take bookings with independent shows. Your fee might be a little bit higher because you have the ROH kind of name value behind you, but overall, it's not like steady week to week paycheck coming in. It's like, all right, I got to get booked for a show and work. What's it going to be? Is the promoter going to pay? It's tough. It's very tough. So hopefully things work out for ROH when they do come back.
Like you mentioned about the ROH TV, bro. Like I've even like sometimes like when I'm when I'm writing and I get stuff and I flip through the stuff and like it's off the late night, I'll see like ROH slatted at like the 2 a.m. on like some random channel, dude. And it's like it's crazy. Like you say, it's difficult to get invested in like their product. Like I'm assuming for people that it's because it's difficult for them to find it. Like it's like, how can you possibly get that invested into something when you can't even like really like know like to go to the proper channels to even find this product? And like we've seen them do shows recently, like you mentioned the Death Before Dishonor show. Like it was a solid show, it was a solid show for what it was. But like to keep people hooked, you're gonna sort of need more than that. And like I know you probably saw the interview that Joe Koff did with PW Insider. They were planning to go live July 2020 if it wasn't a pandemic. They were going to go live, and it just makes you think like how different things could have been for Ring of Honor. But that's like a whole other thing. Like if it wasn't no pandemic, how different would things be overall? That's like a whole other thing. But like it would have definitely been interesting because he sort of mentioned it like as a studio show. Well, obviously with people in attendance, like I think that would have been like sort of like cool like idea for Ring of Honor to go, and it'd be interesting to see how they formatted that.
You mentioned you have frozen, Andrew. Okay, you're there. Your audio seems okay. Your video is freezing up, but as long as the audio is good, it's not that big of a deal. You mentioned that Joe Koff interview, and Joseph and I have discussed this of like the 2018 where they just misfired. And Joe Koff kind of touched on this as well, where he wishes he, wasn't so conservative at that time. Because look, they had the Young Bucks, they had Cody, they were red hot. You can say what you want about the Madison Square Garden sellout. It was a lot of New Japan, but it was a lot of people thinking the Elite were going to be there as well. Yeah. When those tickets went on sale, people thought
they were still there. Yeah.
Yeah, they thought that they were going to be on that show. Cody and the Bucks were red hot, and obviously it spun off into being AEW, and Tony Khan had a bigger vision than Joe Koff had, and Joe Koff might have, his hands might have been tied a little bit with the Sinclair deal, because I don't know how strongly Sinclair really saw ROH. It's like, we have the television product, but obviously it's on at random hours and random days and random times and everything, so maybe they didn't back enough into it outside of just some money. But as far as like actual television support, doesn't seem like they put as much into it as they could have. But 2018 was a big misfire for that company with the talent that they had and as hot as they were at that time. And Sean mentioned it, like they were number 2 in 2018. They were that with that group that they had, and the New Japan partnership was as strong as it had been at that point too. And like they just, instead of growing, they were stagnant in where they were. And that's a big reason why Cody and the Bucks were like, you know what? Because I've long maintained that if AEW doesn't come around, maybe Cody would have had, maybe he would have thought differently. But the Bucks were going to WWE at that point. They saw the writing on the wall with ROH. It's like, yeah, you can offer us booking roles and everything, but there seemed to be no, the ceiling was very capped in ROH. And that's, other people just saw bigger visions there. And that's what kind of led to AEW, but they didn't capitalize in 2018 when they were high. And Joe Koff more or less admitted as much in that interview.
He did. He definitely did. He, like, when people would go check it out, the interview that he did, like, he essentially what Jeremy just said, he basically said, like, without saying it directly, that if ROH would have properly capitalized on things, I probably don't think AEW would be around. But it's like sort of so many things had to happen. It's like a chain of things had to happen in order for AEW to get started. It's so interesting, like, how things play out, and we look at it like hindsight being 2020. Like, imagine if Ring of Honor didn't back the Bucks and Cody and Omega with All In, and they was like, we don't want anything to do with this. Like, that's whatever you do, that's you, and you maybe you can use our talent, but like as far as like production, that's on y'all. Y'all gotta find that out. ROH helped them put that together, and the ROH they still had the rights to the show, right? Like that's their show. So like, imagine if ROH would have pulled back and was like, we don't want to be associated with this. Like, it's like so many different things that little things that happened in order for All Elite Wrestling to be formed, man. And like you mentioned, like the Bucks, I think the Bucks were 100% probably will end up in WWE, and who's to tell, like who else would have been right beside them? Maybe Omega would have went, maybe Cody would have went back, or maybe Hangman would have went with him. It's like it's so interesting to look back at this stuff and think about what could have happened. Had and like ROH, they had such a big role in this, but at the time, it really didn't seem like it, like they did. But they were like a very key piece to All Elite Wrestling getting started. And man, it's like you saw the scene when like when Daniels, Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky left. That was kind of like a real core trio for Ring of Honor, and of course the Bucks and Cody and them. But like it seemed like more of like with Daniels, Kazarian, and Daniels, it just seems like they were more like a ingrained in Ring of Honor as far as like, this is our home. And when they left, it was like, it's kind of looking, it's kind of looking real bleak, man. But like I feel like with the Madison Square Garden show, like when I look back at, like, I remember when I was watching it live, I remember me and you were actually covering that, and at the time it seemed like a really good show. But like when you think about it, like you mentioned earlier, it's like a lot of people were of the expectation that Kenny, Bucks, the whole Elite, that whole crew, like you said, was going to be on that show. And like when you think about it, it's like, how well would that show would have drawn if people were people already knew that they weren't going to be there. It's like so many like interesting things that happened like within ROH within the last several years, man. It's so fascinating, like to just go back and like look at these things and like reflect on what could have happened if this wouldn't have happened, what that would have happened. It's like this would be like a real like interesting, like if you just like focused on this and like dissected everything, it'd be like a real like fascinating like conversation or podcast or whatever it may be.
There's so much to digest when it comes to all of this ROH stuff and what went wrong, especially in 2018 and even during the pandemic and everything. And yeah, like you can do multiple series podcast on that. I mean, we launched when we started the channel, we started doing essentially ROH Tuesdays, where we would review the latest episode of television, and they do like solid episodes of TV. It's an easy like 45-50 minute watch. You get 2 good matches, maybe 3, and they advance some stuff. Again, do they always build to this at the pay-per-view and whatnot? No, but it's good wrestling matches. You just get good wrestling matches. The problem is it's in an empty building, and when everyone was doing empty buildings, it was a little bit more tolerable. Now that everyone kind of has crowds back, it's like, oh boy, these empty arena settings, they ain't hitting watching these shows. And then, I mean, the classic, and then we do the classic stuff as well. But it was a fine product. It was very cold. And I mean, you go back to this Death Before Dishonor. This was their first show, live events and everything. Dude, they drew like 350 people for Philadelphia, for the 2300 arena. Like that's a popular arena. Like that's Philadelphia is like a hotbed. I mean, New Japan Strong just drew 700 there not too long ago. Like they
MLW do well.
Yeah, MLW for Fightland drew. It doesn't say on here, but I think they said they sold it out. But 350 people, just not good. It says MLW did 550. These are all according to Cage Match, by the way.
Okay.
So, but to do 350, man, like your first show coming out. I don't think Death Before Dishonor was Glory by Honor might have been the first one. That one did 390. So like that's still not like great coming out of everything. And it's tough. Like they were just not a hot product at all. They just weren't. And it's unfortunate. I hope that when they do relaunch in April, they get some good support behind them. And I hope that, wrestlers still have a place, a consistent place to work. Is it going to be a consistent paycheck, week to week, month to month, however they paid their guys? Doesn't seem like it's going to be that. But if it can be something like a PWG East or just a good indie promotion that pays a little bit more because they do have television, they do have a streaming service, which another misfire there with their streaming service. And they do have some name value. It might be nostalgia name value, but if they can still pay a little bit more than your run-of-the-mill indie, that's better than nothing when it comes to talent. So we will see with ROH. Again, there's so much to unpack and digest. It's not going to be the same as it was. But any closing thoughts that you want to make sure you get out there, Andrew?
Man, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Like I hope when they come back, it's a good place. Hopefully it'll be a really great place for people to come in and, filter in and out of. And like mostly I'm just wondering like what the sort of the top of the ROH card is going to look like come January, as far as people who are currently at the top right now. Like I just wonder how many of those people are going to be like already elsewhere. Like I'm pretty sure you've seen the interview that Roosh did with SI.com, and he was like, my contract up in January. He was like, I'm open to hearing other stuff. Like, what was that, like a month ago?
I think Roosh was gone before this whole announcement. I think he was out before all of this. It will be to see who is left, because I think we can all pick a couple of guys who is like, oh yeah, they might get snapped up by WWE. They might get snapped up by AEW, do some full-time stuff. AEW can still, they're fairly good with the indies. And so if they, and AEW said many times, they're not going to run WrestleMania weekend stuff and do shows during that weekend. At least Cody has. Maybe that's changed over the years as the petty wars have grown between these two companies. But I do think let's say, for example, if a Jonathan Gresham gets signed by AEW, I do think Tony Khan would be like, hey, if you want to go work this ROH show, cool. I could even see Tony Khan allowing guys like Bryan Danielson to work this ROH show if he wants. Like Tony Khan I don't think he's going to be like, yeah, no, you're not going to work this. If Danielson goes to him and be like, hey, can I go show up here and work this match? I'll probably be like,
great question.
Sure. Whatever we're doing.
Great question.
Whatever you want to do.
that's Tony Khan number one response right to everything. Great question.
It's a great comment, Daniel. You know what? Sure. If that's what you want to do. If you want to go work this ROH show, that's fine. Just make sure you protect yourself. Make sure you get the right opponent. We'll talk with Joe, but we'll work everything out. But that's great, Daniel. Whatever you want to do.
We'll talk with Joe. but now, it's like, do you think that Sinclair could have been more behind Ring of Honor than they were? Like it seemed like. It seemed like Ring of Honor got like such like a minimal effort, man, from Sinclair, as far as like backing goes, in just the range that Sinclair could have went for ROH. Like, man, they could have like really put this thing out there.
They could have. I mean, I don't know. To me, Sinclair just always saw it as like a content factory,
additional programming.
Yeah, and so that's what they delivered. Obviously, they helped with money. They were able to sign some guys that maybe they wouldn't have been able to sign. They were able to offer some bigger contracts and stuff. But again, it goes back to no one knew when this show was on. I didn't know when it was on. Like, I didn't know when to find it on Sinclair. You said you just work in random hours, and I know you're up at like 2, 3 in the morning, and I'm sure you probably just threw something on. It's like, oh wow, ROH is on at 2 o'clock. That was probably first run television. I remember I would go to Planet Fitness on the weekend, and like it was on so many of the TVs there. It was just on so TV, like it's like 3 in the afternoon, and ROH is on the TVs on the treadmills and stuff. It's like, all right, cool. I guess this is what we're watching. Like that seemed to be the demographic of it's on. Like the TV is on, and you might just have it on. The demo is like people who fall asleep or people who work out or leave their TV on or something.
TV on when you go to sleep.
Yeah, it wasn't like, hey, we're actually on at this hour, but it was still accessible through their website and everything. You know, you follow them on Twitter. Like they did the watch party 7 o'clock on Mondays on Fight TV and stuff. Like they tried with some stuff, but they also missed the boat on a lot of stuff. And Joseph said this many times of, I don't know if live television or not live television. I don't know if television is the way right now because one, they weren't live. So it makes it harder because Impact is having this problem right now as well. Impact is just they're going to stay at their like 100,000 viewers. It seems like and until forever, no matter what they do. And one, it's not live. So that does not help them. And two, there is so much other television on where it's like, all right, by the time you watch WWE programming, by the time you watch AEW programming, that's already 15 hours of wrestling or so a week. Yeah. It's like, I don't have time to just watch like an hour episode of ROH or 2-hour episode of Impact. Like this is why I keep saying GCW is the third promotion because they don't worry about television. They build fights. They build big matches. You want to tune in and you want to see Gage and Moxley. They don't have these guys on television every week doing stuff. You tune in, you want to see Gage and Suzuki. Like they just bring in good wrestlers from around the world and they build almost dream matches you don't think you're going to see everywhere else. And like,
but they're running a Hammerstein ballroom in January.
Yeah,
that is like, crazy.
That's kind of the way to do it. And they have storylines and stuff, but for the most part, like they might have 1 or 2 kind of big storylines. And then everything else is just like underneath, like cool matches, dream match kind of stuff. And like, that's what they do. And that's sort of what ROH used to do. It's like they had their big storylines at the top of the card, but everything else underneath was just like, hey, let's go out and have great matches and like build guys and make sure we showcase everybody. And that's why ROH was a hit initially because you had your Impact television, you had your WWE television, and they played their role as far, which is building up great matches, letting people do different things. And now like they almost fell in line with everybody else when it came to television. And it didn't help that, hey, you can't really call yourself like the home of the best wrestling in the world anymore when we're seeing similar wrestling on GCW shows, on AEW shows. Like they stood out with their peer division stuff. And I do think their women's division
that was good.
Was coming along. That maybe they should have leaned more into that because then they do some stuff with like the Righteous and whatnot. It's like, oh God, that was all cringe stuff to me. But they kind of lost some appeal as far as what used to make them special, and they took hits in a lot of areas, whether it be talent, whether it be the pandemic. They definitely took hits, but there will always be. SP3 is in the chat, and he's talking about going to. Let me find his comment here. Here you go. He went to Hammerstein 2300 Arena, Florida, New Orleans, MSG. Like, look, they will forever have those memories. I've said it a million times. Like the Danielson, AJ, Punk, Joe stuff from the 2000s. Like that's some of my favorite wrestling. I can go back and watch that all the time. And they will always have
that Joe Kobashi match is a classic.
Oh yeah. We're gonna be watching that soon on the channel. And once we do our watch along, Andrew with all the pals, talking about some of their favorite wrestling matches. I know some ROH stuff was on your list as well. So you can't take those matches away from. You can't take those memories away from. It's obviously in a much different and not so good place now.
Yeah, something you mentioned was Impact Wrestling is sort of like their Access TV. Do you have Access?
No, I don't have cable. I dropped cable once I moved because I just mooch off of my parents. They have cable, and so you can download the app and just use their cable credentials. So that's basically what I do.
But like with access, like I don't know, like I don't have that. I don't know where to find that stuff. And I know they have like the YouTube subscription thing, like where you gotta
it's like
pay
$1 a month or something.
YouTube subscription thing. I think that's like a cool way to go about it. I guess if you want to just draw people in and still be able to have like some type of income coming in there, some type of profit. Like maybe it would have been cool if Ring of Honor would have done something like, hey, if you want to watch our ROH TV, how about you just sign up for Honor Club and then just watch it through there or something like that? Maybe that could have been something along the lines of they just filter most, if not all, of their product through Honor Club, and you just have it like that, and that'd be a way to sort of somewhat make up for not having most of that live attendance gate there. And I think that would just been like a cool way to do it. I mean, even with Impact, like I know a lot of people hopped on Impact, including me. I hopped on it. I was like, I don't know where to like access your Access TV outside of Twitch, especially when they shut down Twitch, but like them having that subscription service, and it's not anything crazy to pay for it. I think that's a good way, and it's a way to just generate some income while having your own sort of de facto platform outside of the Impact Plus service. Like it's just a smart way to go about it, man.
I thought they botched Honor Club because they had all that footage and stuff, and then they didn't upload it correctly, or it took them too long to upload a lot of stuff, or they just didn't upload a lot of stuff in general. And then they would try to do they ran their big events, and then usually it's sort of like Impact, where they'd run their pay-per-view and then they would tape television like the night after or a couple of nights after. So what ROH was doing for a while is they would run their big event and then they would tape television the night after or a couple nights after, and you could watch those television tapings live, like on Honor Club and stuff. But it confused everybody because it was like, wait, is this a television taping? Is this a big event? And so when it aired on television, it all aired out of order and everything. People were like, I don't know if I've watched this. That was a big complaint I always had with their television. It's like, oh, hey, you've watched Final Battle. All this happened. The television the following week just had like no references to Final Battle. And it's like, we're still building towards Final Battle on television.
I could not stand that. Like when I used to like try to catch up on some of the old ROH stuff, like I would literally watch like a pay-per-view like you just mentioned, and then like you go back and watch like the following week's episode of ROH TV, and it'll be like 2 weeks from now is Final Battle, like, and 2 weeks from now is our next event. Like I could not stand when they did that, and I was trying to figure out for the longest. I'm like, how did somebody like not tighten that up or not realize? Maybe they were just so in their groove, like that's what they wanted to do. Like, hey, this is the format, this is what we do. We've been in this for a minute, so let's just keep going with it. But like at some point, you would think somebody catch that and be like, why don't we air this stuff in chronological order? Like we just had this event, so maybe we should like, maybe there wasn't enough time to like, quick enough time to turn around to edit the footage and stuff like that, or maybe that was the case. But like you would think at some point somebody would have been like, okay, let's not have these episodes air out of order, because like it's just confusing for everybody involved. And it's just like, it seems kind of like, if you're gonna call it a space, it seems kind of lazy. Like it just, you literally just ran a pay-per-view where we saw the results of everything, and then now we're still on the TV show, we're still on the build to that pay-per-view, and it's like, it's no point of watching the show if you already know what's going down at the pay-per-view.
I don't think they ever figured out how to be a weekly television company. I don't think they ever figured out how to do it because their weekly television was just content for Sinclair. I don't think they ever put much thought into it outside of, hey, it's just content for Sinclair. We're not actually using this to like build to our events and everything. And that's why stuff aired out of order. That's why it was, like you said, like pretty lazy the way they would do things. I just don't think they figured out, hey, we have weekly television. Let's use weekly television to actually build towards these events. Like our weekly television is just, we have content promises to Sinclair, so that's what we're going to do. They started to figure it out a little bit during the pandemic because of how they would tape everything. But when they were like a live company, I don't think they ever did a good job of truly figuring that out. And when you are a weekly television company, if you don't know how to do weekly television, that kind of hurts. And that's why I said, like, I don't think being a weekly TV company really helped them, because that's not what they were built on. That's not how they rose to prominence. And if you don't figure that stuff out, it's going to ultimately hurt you. in the long run. And I think that was an area where they got hurt on. As far as Zapato asked in the chat, do we know who owns the tape library from before the Sinclair years? Must be big money in hoarding of that library. I don't know this for sure. I feel like Kerry still has it. There seems to be mixed reports on this.
Yeah.
Does Kerry have it? Did Sinclair buy it from him? They are uploading stuff. Like they have that stuff on their YouTube channel. So Sinclair has rights to something, whether they got it from Kerry, if Kerry has allowed them to use that to put on YouTube. It's very mixed on that. I don't think there's a concrete report out there. I apologize. Andrew, like, do you know, you read and listen to more than I do. So have you heard anything about this?
No, I'm pretty much the same thing with you. Like as far as the tape library, like I'm pretty sure people have seen like the Sports Illustrated story that came out, and it was like ROH had the tape library for sale, and then it was like another conflicting report regarding the tape library. It's like I don't think anybody will know until like somebody actually comes out and says it, like who owns the actual tape, who has the rights to the tape library. Like you just said, anybody can go on ROH YouTube channel and you can see like they always upload like these throwback, like really good matches, like really fun stuff from like back in the, like not even back in the day, from like 2014, 2013, 2007, 2006, just real cool stuff like with Chris Hero and Claudio Cesaro, Briscoes versus like Homicide, or like some random person like Hulkabat or some shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like real, it's real cool stuff that they upload to their YouTube channel. So like I definitely think that if the tape library, if it is up for sale, if it is up for grabs to the highest bidder, I think that's a big get for whoever can obtain that, because there's so much within that, and you can sort of sprinkle that around. Like I honestly, I think that if Ring of Honor or Sinclair does, like, if they still like have a grasp on that, like I feel like they should hold on to it, because I feel like that's probably like one of the most key things that they could hold on to, and maybe not even hold on to it permanently. Maybe just I feel like it'll continue to have equity as it, as the years go on, and then maybe one day down the line they might want to sell it or give it away, not give it away, but sell it to another place or a bidder. I think that would probably be the best option, because I feel like that tape library, man, it's only going to, like I said, it's only going to grow equity, I guess, the years go on.
If I have the tape library, until I know like the company is just, it's done, it's under, I'm definitely holding on to it, because you can put that content out there on Sinclair. You can actually do a better job with Honor Club and put that content on Honor Club and be like, hey, if you want to see these classic matches with guys who are on TNT, USA, and Fox right now, here you go. Come to Honor Club. Come check this stuff out. This is where, like, I don't know how much Impact Plus, like what their subscription rate and everything is. I will say Impact does a very good job on social media, and this is where ROH doesn't.
Yes.
You know where I'm going. Like if something happens, like, I think it's Garrett. Like if something happens, yeah, it's like, hey, remember when Impact did this? Sign up to Impact Plus. See this now. Like, does that generate like, a new subscription every day? I don't know, but I don't think it hurts. And this, like, I don't know when ROH uploads these classic matches.
It draws attention.
Yeah, it does. It 100% does. Yes. And ROH doesn't do that. I don't think they lean enough into like their history, especially on Twitter. It's a lot of, hey, this happened on this upcoming ROH show. This happened on the last ROH show. It's not like, let's go back to 2004 and check out Bryan Danielson taking on Paul London. Like they don't do a lot of that stuff. I think they should lean more into their history on Twitter and try to get people into like Honor Club and stuff, because I think Honor Club, big misfire on their part with all the with all the content and all the great matches that they have. So yeah, if I have the tape library, I'm actually trying to utilize it better before I offload it to anybody. But maybe they don't actually want to put that kind of effort into it, and they're just like, hey, yeah, give me however much millions, thousands of dollars, and now it's on your hands. I know, like, if WWE gets it, they'll put it on Peacock, they'll gain whatever, a few extra people. If Tony Khan gets it and it leads to an AEW subscription service, yeah, people are gonna have a field day with that stuff. So if it is for sale, I imagine Tony Khan is gonna empty out the pocketbook for that one.
He got more money. He got more money than Vince, man. Tony was big talking in them interviews. I was like,
he
I feel he was big talking in them interviews. But man, like you just said with Impact, like what they do, it's Garrett, right? Garrett, the one that does that.
I'm pretty sure it's Garrett. Yeah.
but like even just the small stuff, like even if it's like snarky, like just little funny stuff. Like I remember it was on a Rampage show and Santana and Ortiz did something with some team, and then somebody on the Impact team put up the footage of Santana and Ortiz with that exact same team that they were in the ring with. Like just like ROH could easily lean into stuff like that. Like when Samoa Joe was like on the lead up to his comeback when he was doing the thing with him and Karrion Kross. But you roll out hey, best of Samoa Joe. Hey, if you want to see Samoa Joe do this, do that. Hey, if you want to see Bryan Danielson, like you know, ROH, like literally half of these dudes, half of these talents, man, they started in they got their big breaks in ROH. Like they should lean into that. Like y'all are literally like sort of like a real footprint in professional wrestling. Like y'all have a big hold on a lot of these places, and I don't mean that in a way of like they have control over these places. I mean, in the sort of like when you look at just the crop of talents, big talents that's in AEW, that's in WWE, most of these people, like, man, they started in Ring of Honor. Like that was their initial like big break. That's where they got their names established in, man. And I feel like Ring of Honor, they do like a sort of like a lackluster job of leaning into how important they are as a company. So it's like they forget how important they are in a way. And maybe that's just a thing of like people not paying attention to them. Like, and maybe that's sort of like a inner confidence type thing within internally. Like they maybe just don't feel like they're as big as they once were, which I mean, they aren't, but like Ring of Honor, but with the history they got, and like you said, with the tape library, I feel like that tape library, they're gonna have a lot of pull with that. Like if I was like running it, I would be having like a lot of fun with that tape library, like, you know, having conversations here and there, but like internally knowing that I'm probably not gonna give it up just yet, and just keep rolling stuff out, man, and try to get people sort of like maybe they can use this downtime to sort of restructure the Honor Club service and sort of like get some fresh ideas of like how to roll out certain things, or how should we approach this and how should we approach that, like and just up your social media game. Because I mean, like, you know, if you're not in the present, you're not in people's eyes, man, you're not in people's like current frame, you get forgotten about, especially in professional wrestling. So like they gonna need to find some way to like just stay relevant, like past, you know, Final Battle.
See, Dan J made a couple comments about YouTube, that they did such a horrible job promoting the fact they put Hero Strong on their YouTube. It only has 4K views. Roderick Strong and Chris Hero. I don't know when they upload stuff to YouTube. Unless you're checking the ROH YouTube every single day, you probably have no idea when they actually upload, because they don't mention this stuff on Twitter at all. You go to their website, and I actually think their website is not half bad compared to a lot of the
good
other
website. Website,
especially compared to a lot of the other wrestling companies. Like AEW's website honestly sucks. Like you don't get any information off of their website. Like ROH at least hits you with some info and everything. But they don't put on their website.
That's where we get the sign and scoops from.
Exactly. But like they don't put anything on their website like, hey, this got uploaded this week. Maybe it's in X-Files. I don't know. I sometimes read that, but I don't feel like they mention enough. Again, just mention stuff like, hey, uploaded to ROH YouTube this week. This, and this. Have a little write-up on something to like let people know this was posted. Here's how you can watch it. Here's why you should watch it. But they don't do any of that stuff. Again, I think they can
tag these talents on social media, man. Tag the people. Tag the people.
Like somebody like Chris Hero would certainly like retweet, comment on Roderick Strong. Right. Roderick Strong probably not like going out of his way to promote some old ROH match.
Hey man, but real quick, I ain't mean to cut you off, Dre, but like I had to, like with Roderick Strong, like dude, there was like a period in Ring of Honor. You could not tell me this man was not the best wrestler.
Oh,
I'm gonna
send this to Joseph right now, because everyone in the chat, everyone knows Joseph. That is a very, very good point for Door Soup. That's why you smash the subscribe button, tap the notification bell. Please do that for this channel right here. If you're here, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave us a thumbs up on the video. Really helps us out. YouTube is being dicks. We're still trying to monetize. but I can't because of old management on this channel, and I'm not thrilled about that. I'm going to send this link to Joseph because if there's one thing Joseph loves, it's an Eddie Kingston promo and a Roderick Strong backbreaker. So
Yes.
I'm going to send this to him, and I'm going to say, Andrew is talking about Roddy Strong backbreakers and calling you a coward. There we go. I sent the link to Joseph. He probably still will not appear. He will still say, "I'm on vacation, pal. Have fun." But
vacation.
I've sent it. Yes, vacation. I've sent it to him, and we can continue to call him a coward if he decides to not show up. Roderick Strong, just a tremendous. He's been doing this for so long too,
bro.
Just a great professional wrestler.
When Martin and I were doing the Bushby and Thompson podcast on Post, we covered Black Cole's son from like 2014, and in the main event who was in the main event? I think it was a guerrilla warfare match. Like it was two main events, but it was Ricochet and Kyle O'Reilly in the main event in a traditional singles match for the PWG World Title, and Roddy Strong, he came in and like he ambushed Kyle. And they did like a guerrilla warfare match. Dude, this dude has been like the work rate king for like 7 years. Like his gas tank is unreal in the ring. Like Roddy Strong is like, when he's on, bro, he is on like 100%. Like there's no 99, no 98. Like it's just 100% go with Roddy Strong. Like he is like one of the most entertaining like in-ring people to go, because like he's just like, it's always something. It's always like one of those like unique backbreakers, and like the end of Heartache is like that's a good move. This is a cool move. But like, and then I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you had the chance to see the match with that he had with Odyssey Jones on 205 Live, not the one that
like, the 205 Live one.
Bro, he made Odyssey look so good, like in defeat. Like Odyssey looked like he just had like a really great showing.
I enjoyed that match much more than their NXT.
Right.
Like I would have. It would have been nice if they would have flipped them, because I know more people saw the NXT one, and like, look, it did fine for Odyssey. It didn't do him the favors that the 205 Live match did for him. I wish that they would have been flipped in some way, because I think people would have walked away more impressed with Odyssey Jones had they seen the 205 Live match over the NXT match.
I agree.
Andrew, let's talk about Bearcat Keith Lee, because I have
almost 1 hour. Almost 1 hour with ROH.
There's a lot to talk about with ROH, man. Yeah. Like I've said it many times that like, and Joseph has said the same thing. I don't know if there's a more influential promotion over the last 20 years or so. Like the stuff they did is with the Forbidden Door. Like they were doing that stuff first with Noah, Kenta coming in and Kobashi coming in and everything in New Japan. Like they were doing a lot of that stuff first. The style that they did. I mean, Bryan Danielson was Bryan Danielson in ROH before he was that in AEW. Obviously the people that they're using, and I think even building towards big matches like GCW is doing right now. Like ROH is super influential, man. I hope it's not lost on people who just kind of got into wrestling in the past 5 years or so, of just like how influential this promotion was. Because if you just got into wrestling 5 years ago, you might know about like the elite stuff, but you probably just think like, they were just kind of there in ROH, and the Bullet Club stuff was all New Japan. So like, how much influence did ROH really have on that stuff? But like they were part of that. But you go back to the early 2000s when they really influenced a lot of stuff that you see today. So there's a lot to talk about with ROH. Again, that's something you could probably do a multiple podcast series for, as much as there is to talk about.
Like you was talking about like sort of the Forbidden Door, man. Like you literally just like started a whole like thing in my head. Like see, like we always talk about stuff, and then like we'll you'll say something, then like it'll bring something else in my head. Like even with the Noah stuff, I remember when I was interviewing Mikey Nichols, me and him did like a whole deep dive into his Noah run, and I was sort of thinking about how ROH had that partnership with them, and like you was thinking about when they made Morishima the world champion, the ROH world champion. He used to beat the shit out of Danielson. I remember it was one match that I think it was Manhattan Mayhem 07. Dude, I'm trying to tell you, bro. He tried to take Danielson out the game. I'm telling you, he was trying to take this man out the game. Morishima was like one of the most intimidating wrestlers, bro. Like he was a big dude, right?
Yeah.
Tall dude, size, but he had like this baby face, and that's scary, bro. Like he had like a real like young face. It was so weird, bro. But he was like a great like heavy hitter, like super heavyweight wrestler, bro. And like those days and like those partnerships that they had, and like I mentioned the Kabachi Joe match, and you had Kenta coming out. I forgot what match that was that Kenta and Brian had. I think it was like honor for. I don't know. I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it was like honor for all in 05 or something like that, or something along those lines. I hope I ain't got that wrong, but like man, it's so like you talk about it like ROH their history, man, and their lineage and just the footprint that they have on professional wrestling, dude. It's crazy, bro. It really is. It's crazy.
I don't think there's a more influential promotion over the last 20 years than them. It is absolutely insane, and that's why this has gotten so much coverage. SP3 says Kenta Danielson's Glory by Honor.
Glory by Honor.
Terrible.
Yeah,
yes, I'm terrible with that history stuff. We did a watch along of that. I think that one was a Patreon one, but we did a Danielson Kenta watch along, and I hope they run that back in 2022 because I'd love to see that. But this is why it's gotten so much coverage, because they're so influential on today's product. 20 years ago, they were so influential on today's product. That company means a lot to a lot of people, and it's a shame that they're in the position that they are in right now, because
they should have let CM Punk back. They should have let Punk Brad. Remember that people that was a that's like a writer's joke right there, Jeremy. You get it. But Punk, what was that interview? I think it was a Curry Silver interview when he was like Punk was trying. It was on the ROH podcast.
Yeah. I don't know how serious Punk was with that offer, but it'd be tremendous if he actually made like a decent enough offer to get that company. But yeah, like just a lot of good stuff in that company, and we will continue here on this channel. Tuesdays, we'll continue to do ROH look backs. We'll continue to review the television as long as they're kind of pumping out new matches and stuff. Regardless, we will keep doing the watch along stuff, because I know myself and Joseph really enjoy, and Jensen really enjoy going back and rewatching a lot of those matches. And O'Neal, who is the killer of ROH, the man who actually killed the promotion, we do enjoy kind of getting him kind of looking at this stuff and presenting new wrestling to him, since he is very much a WWE fan. All right, let's talk about some Raw. And
our next topic was in ROH. Yeah, there you go. There you go with a transition.
What do you make? Bearcat's the next champ, right? Him and Big E. That's the next title feud after Seth Rollins.
It honestly should be, but I ain't gonna. I'm kind of weary about Seth Rollins, bro, because I feel like I remember me and you and Joe when we were on Twitch, we talked about this. Like I don't know what I feel like they want to get the title back on Rollins. I just have that feeling that that's what they want to do. I feel like Big E has done like a really solid job, a really good job so far as being champion, bro. Like I feel like they could push him so much more. I feel like they can amp him up more. But like I feel like with what he's been given, he's done like a really, really good job. And I'm always a big proponent of Big E, man. And like just with Keith Lee, Bearcat Lee, like bro, it's like WWE. They do these things, man, where they feel like they had to change certain talents because one person doesn't get that said individual. The thing that got Keith Lee over was Keith Lee being Keith Lee. When he was in NXT, he was just Keith Lee. And reason people liked him because he was just himself on TV. He wasn't. It wasn't this like character, this thing, this like framed thing. Like he was just simply Keith Lee, and he went out there and he wrestled. Like it's like WWE. It's like this foreign concept that they have, that this idea that they have that people can't just go out there, wrestle, and get popular. Like it's like they don't believe that can happen. Like they just can't happen. And like we can even look back this past Friday on SmackDown with Shotzi Blackheart. Bro, she went out there and she got over. Like it was so simple. You went out there, you let her wrestle. She looks different, got a unique hair color. She looks different from every other woman on the roster. Like she got over. People were chanting her name, and they turned her heel. you know,
they turn her heel by beating up a heel. It's so like, look, I think Sasha is the best women's wrestler
for sure
in America. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm up on Stardom and Japanese wrestling. But as far as in America goes,
bro. She's the best.
Okay. Like I think Sasha is the absolute best.
Let me say this, bro. People cut the bullshit. She's the best. Like, just cut the shit, bro. She's the best.
I'm with you. Like, I think she is the absolute best. I still don't. Her character is just all over the place for me, because whether she's a face or a heel, she's still pretty much the same person, kind of cutting the same promos and everything. And do I think all this is her fault? No, I think she could, if left to her own devices, could certainly do a lot more in this area. But I like when Charlotte and Sasha are out there and they're bickering at each other, I'm like, I don't like either of these women. Who am I supposed to root for here? And then Shotzi attacks Sasha, and I am like, I don't think she's a heel because of this. I think she's beating up a heel. Like, just because you pipe in crowd noise doesn't mean, and booing her doesn't mean I'm going to boo her. Like, I don't have a reason to like Sasha. The last we've kind of seen of her was she came back, she backstabbed Bianca. She was out for a while. She interfered in the Becky and Bianca match, but she was still a heel through all of this. She never like turned babyface. She never gave me a reason to cheer for her through all of this. I just think of her as a person who backstabs people all the time. Like, I don't see her as a babyface. So when Shotzi beats her up, I'm like, all right, why does this make me boo Shotzi? Because
go Shotzi.
Yeah, like they're all heels now. Now they just got 3 heels at the top of there. Because look, unless Sasha does something drastic to where like she apologizes to somebody or has some type of like likable quality about her moving forward, then okay, fine. Maybe I can find something to connect with. But if she just comes out and she's still like, I'm the blueprint, I'm the gold standard, I'm the boss, I'm the best, I main evented WrestleMania, and does her laugh and still acts the way she normally acts, I'm like, I don't have a reason to like you. You're going to you're going to backstab somebody again. My point of this, to connect this back to Keith Lee, is like, they don't actually turn people in a way. Joseph has said
they just show up one day.
Yes, they just give them catchphrases and nicknames, and it's like, here you go. This is now you. Because I think Bearcat's a heel. I don't know, but this is where you could actually put a story together to make him Bearcat. He comes up to the main roster. He fails a little bit. Do you have to book him this way? No. Look, I'm not condoning, hey, bring Keith Lee up and just keep beating him all the time. I think that's very stupid. But he fails a little bit on the main roster. And then I'll use Mustafa Ali as an example of
God.
like have somebody be like, you're too nice. Like, you're just a nice guy. Like, why are you? It doesn't have to be Ali. You could actually put like a different manager. Like, bring Bivens up, because Bivens rules. Like, you have somebody as a manager, a mouthpiece for him. Be like, you're just too nice out there. Like, that's why you keep losing. You care more about the fans or whatever. You get taken advantage of and everything, and bring out like an actual aggressive side of him. Instead, it's like, all right, he's off television for a while. I understand health problems. He comes back. He loses to Bobby Lashley in his first match back. And it's like, all right, well, great. What'd you bring him back for on this? And then the next time you see him, he's just Bearcat. No explanation, nothing. It's like, you could have told a story here of why he is now this aggressive monster who wants to maul people. And instead, it's just like, he's just Bearcat. Just accept it. But this is what they always do.
Bro, Bearcat, I'm trying to figure out like who it's not even who. It's one person who thinks that shit is like, hey, this is gonna pop. Like, no, like, and even you mentioned the aggression thing. Like with Keith Lee when he was in NXT, he showed that aggression when he was in the ring as a babyface. Yeah. When he stepped in the ring, you got aggressive Keith Lee when he would just beat the shit out of whoever he was in the ring with. And like, he had physical matches, man, and he stood out. He was just a very standout talent. And I think he can still do that. Like, and even now when they when he first announced about his health issues, like in certain cases, I'm not all in on the whole, hey, let's bring your real life aspect into this TV product. But like, if you would have just aired that video that he put up on YouTube on a Monday Night Raw, people would have been like, damn, he went through all that and he's still here. Like, and Keith Lee was very, very upfront and very, very open about what he was going through and how he's, said it could have been a fatal thing had WWE not caught that. And if you would have just aired that on a social media, pushed it out on social media, or wrote an article about it on .com, or aired it on one of your TV shows, people would have been like, damn, Keith Lee went through all that. And then when he came back, probably would have got a big reaction. Didn't he lose like in his hometown? Like
that was the Lashley match. He came back at Lashley in Texas, and they just beat him.
It's ridiculous, man, how like they are so like oblivious sometimes to like, or most of the time to like some of these talents that they have. I'm gonna circulate back to Keith Lee, but you mentioned Mustafa Ali. Like I don't know how they missed the boat with him. Like I said this, he was like the most clear layup baby face I've ever seen, and like I don't know how they somehow messed that up, but it is what it is at this point. But yeah, man, Keith Lee, like I don't think you need to do all that, like give him a name change and call him Bearcat, and like he got to bit on the big angry face all the time and be Mr. all the time. Like he doesn't need to be that, bro. Keith Lee is just a likable person. People want to like Keith Lee. Give people a reason to like Keith Lee. Like WWE, they're so formulaic, man, with their creativity and their like the material. You mentioned Sasha Banks, like they give her the same damn material every week. Like it's tired at this point. As great as a wrestler that she is, the material that they give her on these promos, it's like, bro, they just rehash whatever they gave her the week prior. And like with Keith Lee, the thing is, okay, you give him a name change, right? He's angry, he's upset, right? Where does this go? You will keep having him squash the 24/7 guys every Monday night for the 2-minute matches. Like, is he going to win the mid card title? What's on Raw, the U.S. title?
Yeah, Damian Priest says that.
Damian Priest, we haven't won. They like they about to turn Priest. Like, but like you good, Jared?
They have no idea how to book baby faces. They have absolutely no idea how to book baby faces. Big E is great because he's built up a lot of goodwill over the years, and
he has personality.
Yes, and he has a personality, and he's him and the New Day guys have done enough to where they have enough creative freedom that they can kind of nix a lot of stuff. Otherwise, they have no idea how to book a baby face. Like they haven't for the longest time. Like that's why Reigns failed, because they didn't know how to book him as a top baby face. That's why he's so great as a heel, because he just be himself and everything. They don't know how to do baby faces. Becky coming back should have been the easiest layup ever. And it's like, we're just going to make her a heel, because they don't know what they're doing with baby faces. They make them look stupid at every single turn.
Kofi.
Yes. Oh, Kofi. Very, very bad right there. I'm very worried about this Bianca and Becky match tonight, because Bianca needs
DQ finish.
Oh, it's gonna have some. I'm convinced it's gonna have some, because it's opening and like everyone is convinced of this, which is not good. That like the audience is already thinking like, oh yeah, they're gonna do some screwy finish and then they're gonna set up the main event, and then they might do another screwy finish because
Hey, Jared, can I ask you something? Like I don't even know if you could even like make out the words, right? But like if you were booking it, right, you would think anybody could chat, anybody in the chat can answer. I'm pretty sure everybody would have the same answer. The clearest day route, right, would have been pre Crown Jewel, I think it was. Yeah, pre Crown Jewel. Bianca takes the Raw Women's title. Sasha takes the SmackDown Women's title.
Yes.
Like, bro, that seemed like the most clear out to getting to the sort of what I view as the right destination. Like, I don't know why they doing this like weird shit with Bianca Belair. Like, dude, you know what? It just came to my mind. I remember me, you, and Joe were literally talking about this on the Twitch channel. Like, WWE, they do this like weird thing, but I feel like they feel like they want to test talents, like to see, oh yeah, let's see how, if they get upset at this, or like they like to push people. Like, I don't know if they're doing that, if they're exactly doing it with Bianca, but it's really hard to come up with an argument against that. Like, she's like legitimately one of the most like charismatic. She can clearly wrestle. She got years ahead of her, bro. you can send her on these talk shows and have her do all of that stuff. Like she can be the face of the company if you just present her as such. But like they keep like lollygagging with her and shit, man, and like doing this like weird like DQ finishes, like where she can clearly go over Charlotte, and people, it's a believable thing. People believe Bianca Belair can beat most of the talent in the division if we're looking at it from a storyline aspect, right? She's clearly talented as hell. I think we can all go on and say a million good things about Bianca Belair as a talent. But like it's just like I don't know how they just didn't go that route. And the same thing with Sasha. Like if you wanted to, do this whole like sort of, I guess, de facto weird baby face thing that they do with Sasha, I think Sasha's better as a heel, honestly. But like you should have put the title on her and like have her go that route. Like and you can sort of use that to sort of build up some of the other talents in the division. I know people would have probably wanted to see a Liv Morgan versus Sasha or Tony Storm or whoever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but they WWE, bro, they like it is so weird, like how they once upon a time had like legitimately the greatest roster, like one of the greatest rosters, and like just fumbled it. Like it don't make no sense, bro. Like it really doesn't.
They can't book baby faces. They just released a bunch of talent. It's very hard to invest, and if you're somebody who can invest, bless. You mentioned it, and we talked about it on Twitch of like they just like to push buttons. They like to break you down and to try to rebuild you. They did it with Rhea Ripley. They've done it with Liv Morgan. This is what they try to do. And then in 5 years, if these people are still with the company, and I mean Rhea's already won her title. In 5 years, if Liv Morgan is still with the company, they'll finally give her that WrestleMania win, and it'll be like, look, she overcame all of this, and after 10 years with the company, she finally got her big win. And that's the only story they know how to tell. Yes, this is the only story they know how to tell. Is just like don't have them win anything forever, and then give them a hot run. Speaking of Cesaro, like he beats Rollins at WrestleMania, he feuds against Reigns, and I don't know if he's on television. I think he was in the King of the Ring tournament. He lost. It seemed like he was going to do something with Otis and Gable that went nowhere.
Brock got scared of him.
Nothing. Nothing to do.
He had the conversation with the media face to face with Brock on that SmackDown. What was that last week? You remember that when people was making jokes about it on Twitter? They was like when Brock saw Cesaro, he stopped swinging like that. That was Cesaro who was in that segment. But like but the biggest thing from Cesaro is he gonna be on the UK tour against Walter. Like that's like that's the big thing with Cesaro right now.
Like that's great. It sucks that like no one's ever gonna see these matches. But the Cesaro's problem, and it's not his problem, but it's his problem in this company, is he is a very, very good professional wrestler and a babyface. And they don't know how to book them. They do not know how to book very good professional wrestling baby faces, because they look at him and be like, oh, he has no personality, he has no charisma and everything. And guys get over by wrestling. Like you can just have him wrestle people and beat them. Bobby Fish is out here getting over in AEW. Bobby Fish ain't got the biggest personality in the world. He just goes out there and wrestles people. Matt Sydal ain't got much of a personality. He just goes out there and wrestles and has great matches. It works. You can do this stuff.
Dude, like, so I think I tweeted this out, and when I say this, bro, I mean like legitimately all due respect to Bobby Fish. Like, but let me not say that, because when people normally say all due respect, they about to disrespect somebody. I'm not even gonna say that. Like, when I'm watching Raw, bro, and I see like a Shelton Benjamin, dog, like, and then Bobby Fish around the same age, I'm like, dude, Shelton Benjamin could be doing the same thing, but if you just let people wrestle, like WWE, man, it's like they're so infatuated with trying to present as an entertainment product. I'm like, dude, at the end of the day, wrestling is wrestling. No matter how much you try to run away from it, or how much you try to separate yourself from it, or distance yourself from it, it is a wrestling show. It will always be a wrestling show. So guess what you should do? Lean into the wrestling. You have like legitimately great wrestlers, bro, on your roster. I don't think there's it's even stuff like how we watch certain stuff on Raw, and like the show is like fucking abysmal, but like it's like even certain things on the show where we're like, oh, that could actually be cool. Like, you remember when Ricochet and Reggie had their match announced? People were like, oh, that might be,
Remember Ricochet?
That is one person I cannot wait to see outside of the company. But I'm gonna say that from my own perspective, because maybe that, maybe he's, perfectly fine. And we can even say this, bro. Look at Apollo Crews. Like I even remember when they started, doing his current gimmick. Like I was like, when crowds come back, that shit is going like back in the closet. I'm telling you, like, even like, so soon as they brought him in, I mean, okay, so clearly he's a heel, right? Clearly a heel, but like, soon as he debuted, they piped in the fake boos, the piped in crowd noise. I'm like, so y'all, he's just a heel because he got what he's doing is Nigerian like Prince gimmick or Nigerian King gimmick. Like, it was, so that's a whole other thing with WWE. We all know they got their shit with them. But like, even with Apollo, like his first appearance on Raw, I think, after the draft, he was in a 24/7 title segment. Or like he was like in it, like him and Aziz, like they were like standing around within the 24/7 chaos, or however they like the demon. It's like, bro, it's ridiculous. And Apollo's another one. He's a great wrestler. Like, if you just let people go out there and like let him do his thing, I promise you, he will draw some traction. And that, you can say that about most of the talents on the roster, bro. Like, it's like they run away from the most simple idea. But unless you're like on that upper echelon of talents, you don't get that same type of like looks or get that same type of like urgency when it comes to presenting you on television. Like with Reigns, bro, imagine if you gave majority of the talents that type of sort of freedom, just elbow room to work with their characters. Stuff would be more organic, and like you would, and we wouldn't be like happily speculating about a talent leaving the company. Like, even with Kevin Owens, bro, people are like literally waiting. Like, waiting for this. And I like Kevin. I think Kevin Owens has had a very successful accolade-based run in WWE.
Yeah.
And like, like, it's, I don't get it, bro. I don't get it.
I will never understand their mentality and their booking, and that's why I just disassociate myself from the product. I cover it. We'll cover this stuff, but like, when it's on, it's on, and I'm just gotta make fun of it. It's like, all right, that's dumb. That's really all I can do at this point. There's no reason, at least for me. Look, if you can find investment in it, more power to you. But for me personally, I cannot get invested into this stuff. I don't care if these people win and lose these wrestling matches, because we've been told these wins and losses don't actually matter. I don't care what they do on the show, because next week it could change. It could be completely different. And I find the people who still get invested, like, we know Stan accounts, like the Liv Morgan fans out there who are still like, oh, this is it. This is the time. Like, they're going to do something. It's like, look, God bless if you can still find investment in that. And you know what? When she finally does win, hopefully it happens. It'll be a big celebration. There'll be plenty of rejoicing of like, oh, it took so long. Finally, this is her moment. And I would feel happy for her too when that moment finally happens. The same way, New Day, I could actually get invested in because they did something substantial. But when it comes to a lot of these talents, it's just like, they're just going to do stuff. And maybe at some point they'll get a big win. And if they do, cool, I feel happy for them. And then it's going to be immediately, don't fuck this up. And they'll probably immediately fuck this up.
But Jeremy, you want to know somebody real quick? I know we're running up on time, but like, you want to know somebody who I will never be under the stand how they missed the boat with this individual, bro, is Naomi. Like, I don't get it. Like, I legitimately don't get it. Like, she is like, if you are looking for that, like, sort of like mainstream transitioned talent that you could sort of bring over there, like I said, do all the talk shows, and like, she has personality, clearly can wrestle, she's experienced, she's been there. Like, I don't know how long Naomi's been. She was there like back in the FCW days. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's been there for a minute. Like, and then at that, like, see, the thing with Naomi is, bro, I feel like they view her in that same light that they view Mickie James, like, as part of like that old guard. And bro, Naomi's like 32. She is young. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a young, bro. Like, she's not even like, most wrestlers don't even get their prime until they're like 36. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they could be doing so much more with her, bro. But like, they choose to like pigeonhole her into this like like, hey, we need you right here for this like 2-week, 3-week, 1 month storyline. So can you just fill in real quick and, you know, do really good, and maybe we'll reward you. Maybe we'll give you something. But like, I just don't know how they don't view Naomi like it's like, hey, this is like one of our marquee stars right here. I know she's selling merch off the fucking rack. I know she is. It ain't no way she not.
She
All
has
these little kids,
merch?
these little
I really don't know like who has merch and who doesn't.
I'm talking about like with the little glow, you know,
Oh,
the
yeah.
glasses, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? People probably love that shit, you know. But like, I'm trying to figure out like, oh, you good, John?
Oh, people too. Like, I remember she had the light up shoes and everything.
Yes.
Like,
and the belt. She had the
people
belt.
love that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joseph is in the chat. This coward says, "Sorry to hear that you guys are talking about professional wrestling rather than watching Rod Strong eating cheesecake. Cheesecake sucks. I said it. I don't like cheesecake. I think it's horrible."
I don't know about that one, John. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one, bro.
Cheesecake is horrible. All right?
Oh,
it's
man.
horrible.
We gotta condemn Jeremy in the chat off that one. His dislike of cheesecake.
I'm about to get yelled at by so many people in the chat for my cheesecake take. I guarantee. Because Graham even says it. Where is his comment? Says doesn't matter. Even dog shit cheesecake is still B+. No, good cheesecake is dog shit.
Oh my goodness! You just get disrespect. Jeremy getting disrespectful at 6:20 p.m. Just being disrespectful. Look at this. You see this. Jeremy starts acting like this when he can feel Monday Night Raw getting closer. You see this is what happens. This is what happens, bro. Hey, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm genuinely not looking forward to covering this show. Like, I'm not, because I almost fall asleep when I cover it. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
You remember back in the day when it was just like me and you doing everything. Fortunately, Fightful has grown to the point where I ain't got to watch these shows. I ain't got to cover them. I'm not going to be there. I don't have to cover them at all.
Bro, it's like they just put like so like minimal effort into like presenting these shows, bro. It's like because sometimes I like I'm like laying down when I'm covering it, and it's like I'm like one segment away from just passing out, like gone. Like I remember one time I was supposed to do the Rewind the Raw podcast, bro, and I fell asleep, and then I woke up like an hour later, and I had to redo. I went and redid the whole thing, or jumped in like halfway through with Wade and Nate Milton over there at Post, man. But like Raw is like, dude, it's so boring, bro. Like that show is like really like legitimately boring. Like, and it has their moments, like when it's like, oh, maybe that'd be good, but then they just end up fucking it up anyway. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to seeing just wrap it around to Keith Lee. I know that was like one of the big topics, but like I think they're just really overthinking it with Keith Lee, like they do with so many talents. Like even with Hit Row, I'm really optimistic about Hit Row, and I think that's just because I feel like they have the talent and they have the mic skills to sort of overcome the bad booking that's going to come their way. I'm like really optimistic about them. And I like the segment that they did with New Day, with Kofi and Woods. I think that was really cool. That was a nice little, that was a nice thing to see. I'm glad they went that route. But like, with Keith Lee, bro, they're like overthinking it. Like, he doesn't need the Bearcat name. He doesn't need this and that. Like, he just be Keith Lee. Let him go out there and wrestle. Let him go out here and ooh and all the audience, and let him get on the mic. And because Keith Lee can talk, he has great mic skills.
I have succumbed to the chat here, mainly JJ. If you refresh the feed or just check it out, Cheesecake Sucks is now in the title. All right, so we'll draw some more eyeballs of people who want my award-winning cheesecake takes. Yeah, people in the chat are saying like nothing on Raw matters. I think for the most part, most of SmackDown doesn't matter. Like the Roman Reigns stuff is good. It can get a little long at some points. But
that's the most consistent thing they got.
It is. It just says, long time viewer, third time commentator was wondering your thoughts on the long-term potential of NXT Young Gun. Roderick Strong, should he beat Roman Reigns in 90 seconds at WrestleMania? I feel like that's a long match. Like, shouldn't it be shorter than 90 seconds? Like, just one backbreaker out. Like, Roman doesn't have the vest on anymore. It's not like he's protected when he takes that backbreaker. So I feel like you do about a 30-second match, honestly, Joe Holbert. Thank you for your question. Appreciate it.
Hey, Jerm. I know we were supposed to talk about Power Struggle too, but
yes,
with the New Japan show on USA thing, that blue they got Okada and Buddy Matthews at that Battle in the Valley show. Dude, they got to do it right.
That's gonna be great.
They got to do it right. There's no way.
I mean, they have no opponent announced for either of them. They're gonna do it. Like I feel
no
like
way,
they're
bro.
definitely doing that match.
It's like exactly that, but that's I'm like genuinely excited about that. Like I'm like really excited about that to see who like not who wins, but I just want to see like the match and like just the two clash of styles, bro. Because I feel like Okada is like one of those talents, bro. He could work with anybody, bro, and adapt and make it look good. So it's gonna be interesting to see what he do with Buddy, man. Because he's fucking great. He's a great wrestler. He really is.
They're gonna go. Buddy Matthews is gonna go out there and like it's gonna be a contract performance for him. He's gonna go out there and have this great match with Okada. And he's gonna do the old Shawn Michaels. He's gonna walk to the back like, follow that. Give me that contract. Give me that max deal from somebody. It should be a great match. I'm looking forward to. We'll see if Okada does some other stuff. He's doing the Battle of the Valley. We'll see if he kind of pops up anywhere else. I don't know. You think he shows up somewhere else?
Man, dude. Like if he comes to the US just to work New Japan, I mean clearly like he's on the contract New Japan. You know, come to work for the company you're in the contract for, but like, come on, man, like they make something happen. Let's make some shit. When is the Battle in the Valley tapings? What is that?
That's
like 7 weeks from now. 13th.
Yeah, that's the 13th.
What 13th? That's Full Gear.
It's the same night as Full Gear. Yeah.
Okay,
sure
so that ain't. But,
Full Gear. So
hey, but I don't think
he's showing up Full Gear.
We got Wednesday. You know, got the following.
There's certainly a possibility of Wednesday after Full Gear, him showing up. I don't know if he will. If they can secure Okada for an appearance, though.
Can you imagine the pop, Jeremy? Can you imagine the pop? But people hear the coin drop. Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
all-time moment.
Greg Carter says Okada versus Gage. Could you? Okada trying to go out there with Gage, do a pizza cutter and everything.
Oh yeah.
Okada ain't doing that. Look, Suzuki will go out there and do some dumb shit. Okada he ain't gonna be like, yeah, let me go through light tubes and tables and everything. He ain't coming to the impact zone, JJ. Kidding me? Definitely not happening.
That ain't happening. they got Suzuki, they ain't getting Okada.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeremy, what is up with this Impact crowd in Vegas, bro? What is going? This sleepy ass crowd. I remember I told you, I was like, they got free NyQuil at the concession stand. the worst crowd I've ever heard. But they were dead for most of Bound for Glory, except for like the big moment Mickey James win the title, or when they did Josh Alexander title switch with moves. Bro, this crowd was sleep. I'm like, wake up. Where you like? Are y'all at a wrestling show or you at a funeral home? Like, what's going on?
I mean, I don't think Impact has like the hottest product right now. But yeah, the crowd should have been a little bit. Apparently, it was like some miking issues because from people who were there, it sounded better than people who watched it on television. Because we watched it on television. It's like crowd didn't care about anything. But from people who were there, they popped up in the chat or in the view show and like, I was there. It's loud all night. I was like, well, that certainly did not come across on television. I don't think Vegas is also like the best wrestling crowd. Like if it's a big event like a SummerSlam or like an AEW or anything, then it's fine. But like if it's just like a smaller show, because those ROH crowds in Vegas weren't very good.
Oh my god, bro! Like at the Sam's Town, Jesus, that crowd was terrible.
I just don't think Vegas is like a good hotbed wrestling crowd. Again, big events like destination events, sure, you'll get a hot crowd. Smaller, like Impact and ROH at this point are small events. Smaller crowds, like it just ain't for them. I don't think it's for them. I think that was a big problem with Impact in Vegas. So yeah, we shall see. Andrew, anything else before we get out of here? I got dinner to eat.
Show your shirt.
You got Raw to cover.
Show your shirt. Yeah,
it's not a Bryan Danielson official t-shirt. I'm repping my guy Andrew and Martin Bushby. There we go. You gotta support your friends, man. That's right,
man. Support your people, man. Support the people.
That's right.
Rock with your folks, man. That's how you do it. Right. Show love to your friends, man. Show love to your friend. Raw and door. That's how you do it. Repeat. But yeah, everybody can follow me on Twitter at AD Thompson __. You keep up with my written work at Post. And I'm dropping an interview tomorrow with MLW's Alex Kane, who will be competing in the National Openweight title ladder match. Alex is a very cool dude. So looking forward to letting people hear that hour-long conversation.
Nice. I saw that. I saw that when I was checking my subscriptions yesterday to see what was new. I saw you were dropping that tomorrow. So very excited. I know you said on the Twitch channel that you were looking to do some more interviews and stuff. So always enjoy your interviews. I think you're fantastic at interview. I think you're fantastic at everything. Honestly, you know, I build the franchise. You know, I build the franchise around you. I appreciate you coming on here, Andrew. You know, you're welcome. Anytime you want to. Follow Andrew, AD Thompson __ post wrestling. Check him out over there. Check out his YouTube channel. I appreciate you for everything you do. Not only everything you've done for me, but everything you continue to do and the way you should continue to make moves, man. Continue to make moves. I love seeing you succeed, buddy. Always love it.
Much love, Jeremy. Guys, I appreciate you too, my brother.
Guys, we'll be back on the channel tomorrow talking ROH at 6 o'clock. Myself, O'Neal, Steven Jensen. We'll watch a classic match. Which classic match? I don't know. I haven't picked it yet. Maybe we'll watch a Roderick Strong match just to piss off Joseph. We'll watch one in his absence. I guess honor in Joseph's absence is what we'll do. We'll be back on Wednesday. Distraction on Thursday. We will be covering DPW, Deadlock Pro Wrestling, if we kind of learn what it's about. I'd like to have Johnny and those guys on the channel and stuff. So we will see kind of what happens there. But yes, everyone knows I love those guys, and whatever they want to do, if they want to come on here, or if they want to whatever they want to do, if they're doing, I'm going to support them because I love those guys. All right, guys, we'll be back Thursday. Distraction Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Not me, not Joseph, Kate Hensler, Cher Delaware, special guest. I believe we're going to have special guests. We have a new theme song. We have a lot of fun stuff planned for that. I think I'm not actually in the booking meetings for that. It's women only. Guys, thank you. Thank you again, Andrew. Thank you again, buddy. Appreciate you. Love you, buddy. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow, 6:05 ROH.